Yeah, I am inclined to agree with you on this one, Clement. And yeah, taking the jungle pick for last, getting that Poppy as well in the hands of Holo. He's already played it once before, too, and gives a lot of utility. We've been seeing Poppy's rise in priority around the world. I just saw it in LCS earlier today, in fact. It had some really great standouts. And I am so curious to see what YSCam does with the Gwen, a champion that has torn it up in the past, but has been tuned down, has fallen off in priority, still finds a way into the meta, especially with so many of these power picks, these one-on-one monsters of YSCam banned away. Showing some respect there, PSGR, to the young rookie. And we'll see what YSCam makes of this one as they set up for that 4-1. PSG set up for maybe a cheeky level 1, but they're not the only ones. So we're going to have some opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, Hanabi should expect it. This is a very common play that PSG themselves love to do. If you're going up against a range matchup and you're the melee side, you want to take away some of those brushes earlier on from the PSG side. Taking a look at the summoners right here, we are going to get another phase rush Poppy, which is kind of been the norm after Predator has been nerfed out. You go into combat and it allows you to get some good angles. I'm just chuckling because PSG with a pretty obvious mistake right off the board here.
Yeah, they're staying on that bot side. All right. Not going to get much out of that one. So we will see the junglers start on same side of the map this time around. And YSCam is Hanabi. There we go. Does manage to clear the ward, though.
That's actually huge because he gets to go to level 2 on this wave. So Hanabi actually is under duress right from the get-go.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like it.
And I just want to mention, PSG dropped double wards right on top of the Rift scuttle. So definitely not intention. Definitely not intentional there. It was dropped by...
Maybe they're a little spooked, Clement.
I think they could be. It's definitely showing some nerves. I think that was a communication mistake. It was dropped by... I think it was dropped by... Let's see. It was Unified and Bury at the same time. And those are two players that, you know, one mainly speaks Korean, the other one speaks Cantonese. So it could just be a communication mashup right there.
And that's something we had been thinking about as much with, you know, these players, especially particularly because Gory, you know, of course, already has experience in a Mandarin-speaking squad. But we are going to get the start off with the level 3 gank. Pillars on, Pretender just limps around it. Has to wave by. Gory really wasn't in a position to chase down either. Already leveled down on this Corki. We'll keep an eye up top too, because YSCam taking a lot of damage early in this game, but he is getting a big push on. Holo clearing Raptors in vision just on the edge of it. So PSG have that information.
Yeah, it does look like YSCam is just going to go for an early recall right here. He's already bounced the wave back, so shouldn't be missing anything. That's the TP. All in all, pretty safe. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, this is also kind of expected for this lane. It's Ballista plus Renata Glass, and Renata, you know, always known as counter to Tom Kench. Earlier on, we have the Ignite going down.
That's Ignite burned. Yeah, Carries is going to live through it, though, so Eminem able to clear through. It's actually nice to get level 3 out. Bury fancies a dive down bottom. That might be the play as they push the wave out. Unified and Kylan doing their best to just bait this out.
They do have the bailout right here, so if they can just focus on Tom Kench, it would be very strong. But Karis is actually very high HP.
Yeah, good turn back, and
still
here
going
we go.
for it.
There's the setup. Bury gets the frozen domain on. Karis with the flank up in there. They actually managed to grab them together, looking for Eminem. A lot of damage tanking, though. Bury will get bailed out
Unified.
for just a second. Excuse me. That's going to be enough to take the 1-for-1 play. I feel like Frank are pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that was... I think it's still a pretty big win on the side of PSG. They deny the Soul Gathering coming in from Eminem, and they also burned double Summoners down there. So that went a lot better than I expected it would for the side of PSG. A little bit unfortunate that they're not able to chain together damage onto Unified. So we'll watch how this goes down. Again, Bury comes in really early, tries to walk up into melee range, and we see Unified with the cleanse, able to keep on doing damage. Oh, this was so well played on the side of PSG. They just used the bailout for extra tanking potential to complete the tower dive. That's definitely something you won't get in any other combination of 3-3 versus 2-2 dive.
Yeah, that's true. And importantly, they also get the kill onto Unified, denying Eminem, as you said, the stacks as well. And so there we go. Off to the races. I mean, Unified has been a pretty big win condition for PSG in the past. Was denied a number of power picks, and we'll see how we can work on this Kalista. Checking in across the rest of the map here, Pretender. A little down in the CS, but able to get some poke out onto Gory, opposite sides. Teleports burned, of course, both across the way, and right back to the reset. Holo here. Coming in for the gank, and goes all the way across with the heroic charge. No, they didn't have the finish, but flash forward into the pillar. Pretender tanks 2 tower shots, and oh no, Emperors divide by 0.
The early walk back looked cool, but definitely was a mistake right there. Not able to finish off the kills, and they have to pay with Pretender's flash and his ultimate. That was an ultimate of shame right there, going down.
Yeah.
Great start, but not so good on the finish. We'll watch this again. Holo does the right thing, instant flash in with the steadfast presence, and then Pretender turns around. No.
Oh, man. He just realized, oh, he doesn't have the damage to kill him. Gets the flash, uses his own to follow. Oh, boy. You hate to see it. Pretender going to be feeling the sting on that one. PSG opening up onto this Ocean Dragon, taking advantage of the timing window. Another nice thing you can do with objectives is Kalista. You basically have an extra smite if you need it.
Yeah, very difficult to contest here, and you know, so far I think PSG have actually exceeded my expectations for how they were going to do in the early game. Good ganks across the board. They've equalized, and this does mean that Gory should be able to, you know, just slide into that first package quite nicely. They also will have both summoners still down for Eminem. And that just means a great timing window for Gory to just pick up the package and just head straight to bot lane.
That's true. Something you have to respect. One of the reasons Corki finds himself so popular these days is just being able to threaten with the package. Time and again, hasn't really been put under fire too much by Pretender. Yeah, they got the kill, but I mean, come on. It was a turnaround. Bury even picking up the follow-up for himself, so already starting to see a little bit more active for the Trundle. But Bury's still been kind of showing up a little bit later to the party. So how have you rated this first 7 minutes for PSG's jungler?
I feel like Bury has done exactly what he needs to do, and Hanabi?
Flash. There we go. Hanabi into the heroic charge. He's gonna have to ult himself, and he can't cut that down with the scissors. So at least they do get Hanabi's ultimate out of him. That Divine Judgment burned.
Good try here, and just something else to note that YSCam is bringing the Ghost. So in these long side lanes, if he does get a lead, it's going to be very difficult to run away from him. He could cut back on PSG's 1-3-1 potential later on with the Corki. Yeah, and overall just a good find by Holo. There's so many of these small tricks that you can do with the Poppy. I love the Hex Flash edition right here.
It's a lot of fun. You know, just the Poppy just has such a great, not only gap closer, but like good amount of CC if you manage to land the heroic charge on. And oh boy, I will say for Hanabi, he goes for the early Zerkers too. So at least he's prioritizing the move speed. Holo getting pillared up and away, and I'll be able to clear that ward. Should be after a while. Eminem on a roam up here, as PSG note that, and it's going to be a Herald setup for the Frank Esports side.
Yeah, and this is actually going to be a bit of a tricky one. I do like Frank Esports top laner and their mid laner. I feel like they're stronger in their solos, but you are going up against a Kalista that does have an extra kill. So I think PSG, they do have a chance to contest. It's sort of an outside chance. As long as Frank don't group up too much, their Herald should still be theirs.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. PSG not going to take unnecessary risks in this situation. Maybe try to pick a kill off the back of it. Maybe get a little poke and harass. Kaiwing does send out the handshake a little bit too late, and Hanabi swaps himself down to the bot side, which means we have Unified up in the top. YSKM will complete that one, and full-on swapping in effect.
And for now, PSG actually has a lot of control of vision here. You have the entire bot side awarded up, the top side as well. So, you know, PSG are doing what PSG do best, which is setting up small two-man ambushes across the map. They do this all the time with their bottom side. And they're going to try it again.
It's so scary to play against PSG, knowing they can do this. Carries and Eminem are sitting in lane, start at the back. You see this. It's actually no ult for Eminem just yet. Doesn't have Dawning Shadow if he needs it. Still trying to ding for the ultimate, but Unified and Kaiwing 2 levels ahead. There we go. That's 6. So, but he's backing on a ward. I think they're going to go for it here. This is not Envision. Oh boy, here comes trouble. Eminem carries, desperately trying to get back to the tower, but they'll cut him off at the pass right now. Swallowing up, they get the handshake back, spits him back out. Meanwhile, they have a fight going on 2 fronts. Who's actually just pushing away. Bury coming through, Dawning Shadow does land, but under tower, Eminem gets taken down by the Ren stacks at Unified. They get one, and they're happy to get out.
And meanwhile, on the top side, we do see Holo just burning away a flash from Hanabi, and the minion wave is coming in. He does have the ultimate, though.
Divine Judgment's up, though. Yeah, YSCM takes a little bit of damage, brings the Gwen Mist in, and I don't know. Here we go. Tries for the wall bang. There's the Divine Judgment. They're going to have to be backing away as Holo takes a lot of damage. Minion wave not quite cut down to size as they look for the chase down, but as they tank, Hanabi has successfully pushed them back. The weak side king has returned.
Strong win here for PSG. They get another kill on their carry, and on the other side, they stave off the gank. We'll watch this again. Eminem does all that he can, but PSG, I love the way that they play with Vision. They're so patient on just making this play happen. Great angle on the hostile takeover. Manages to get 2. Bury once again with the bailout combo right here. He's really a no chance of dying. Flashes out just to be safe anyway, and they complete the play.
Yeah, it was great. Really, really well played. PSG just finding edges around the map. You talked about it. It's really all they've given up at this point. Yeah, a handful of kills, but the Herald, only seeing where that's going to get dropped just yet because they haven't really lost priority on any of these lanes. Checking back in with mid, Rendead Pretender still hasn't really been able to take it to Gory, and now this is going to be another Dragon start here for PSG in full vision from the Scuttle, but not much that Frank can do to contest it.
Yeah, and Frank Esports actually find themselves a little bit outflanked here. You never want to do a dry Herald drop. This is what I call a dry Herald drop is when you drop it for cash. Like, there's no other objective that you could go for. There's very little tempo to be gained elsewhere. And we have to
you gotta moisturize your Rift Heralds. Yeah, it's dangerous out there for a crab. Hanabi has no ultimate as they're bringing everybody in, but Gory actually bounced up and right into Vision. Oh no! He gives himself away. Didn't realize how many members of Frank Esports were there, and all of a sudden the turn is on. Holo maybe tanking the tower, but YSCM trying to cut him down to size. He tanks a lot as well, and MM sends the parting shot. So they didn't get the target, but they will certainly get a bonus as Gory whiffs it into blindness.
A really interesting play here by Frank Esports. I feel like PSG were caught off guard by just looking at Karis down in this bottom lane, thinking that there must be someone else rotating here. So Gory just going up, thinking that he could potentially stave off a 1v2 or make it a 2v2, runs into the 3-man, instantly gets pop right there. But to Hanabi's credit, he hasn't died. He is behind a lot of CS, that's true, but being able to just continuously stay in lane like this, it's pretty detrimental to Frank Esports' strategy because they're pretty much in a race against this fed Kalista right now to take down these towers. If Frank Esports are the ones to get the first tower down, they open up the lane they want to, then they make life very difficult for Hanabi. But now Kalista gets that first step. Kalista can now shove in that lane and then transfer somewhere else, and then bounce the wave back for Kale. So we're gonna have to pay close attention to where the Kalista rotation is gonna be. Now that PSG has the edge, they're gonna want to maintain this net tower advantage.
The Kalista is going to be a big one, and it's been kind of set up as the win condition. Hanabi been able to hold extremely well on this Kale. I mean, sure, a tank would have been good, but you do got to keep in mind the Divine Judgment is going to be a massive factor in some of these fights, even if they catch Unified. How hard is it going to be to kill the Kalista, or even anybody? I mean, you're talking about the Fate's Call as well. Between that, I mean, that's going to be tough. I feel like some of these fights could be extensive. Carries will be a difference maker as well.
Yeah, a big thing about the fights here is that Corki still isn't doing a whole lot of damage. So Frank Esports, I would say, still have the range right now. It means that PSG have to run for them. Frank Esports can use a layered disengage to just step away from the Kalista. That definitely changes in the late game, but for now, I still think Frank are really strong. Nabi trying to keep himself alive in this solo. Does have to burn the ultimate, but so does YSKM. So a decently fair trade here. And in the meantime, Frank are also trying to take down the top lane tower.
Harold starting to come in. PSG, they have the tempo advantage, Clement. See what they can do.
Yeah, and there's actually no TP on the side for YSKM, so this is potential. Oh, the TP just came up. See if they're going to use this one just yet. Pretender coming in from kind of an awkward angle, though. Let's see if he can sandwich. Oh! Olo actually gets his ultimate canceled. The fight is now on. YSKM is in the middle of everyone, but Burry can't hold his own against the 4-man. Now Hanabi has finally arrived. He's starting to fan people down. This is a big ramp to walk through, though. PSG do have to disengage from this one, and Holo misses the ultimate, so no chance for Frank Esports to turn around for the engage, and both sides do call it quits. Let's take a look at who got the Herald. It was PSG in the end to secure the objective. Very dicey fight on multiple fronts right there, but in the end, they do get it.
All right, I think I'm back. Thank you for keeping everything held down, Clement. And
no problem.
I mean, PSG, yeah, close for comfort, but they get it. I know you flexed to play-by-play. You're prepared for just the situation. Apologies to everybody. A little bit of technical issues, hopefully resolved.
Yeah, unfortunately for Holo right there, he actually tried to use his ultimate twice, and neither of them actually succeeded. If he just got one ultimate down, that was definitely a turnaround for Frank Esports. They could have used the Ghost on YSK and just keep everyone in place and do the chase down, but since that didn't happen, we are going to get a repeat.
Speaking of, there we go, handshake on Holo. He is able to flash away from danger. There's the reset, but PSG starting to feel it themselves. They have the edge, they have the lead right now, and I think Frank Esports, they realize they can't go quite as aggressive.
Yeah, so far Frank's game plan hasn't really been working out. They haven't been able to use the power spikes with the Gwen or the Azir over their solo lane opponents. I feel like PSG has just been very comfortably gliding towards that quirky KO late game. So Frank, they're on a timer. They need to make this work. The fight getting low.
Hey, it ends up going the way of PSG. My goodness. Frank Esports looking for the chase down onto Burry, but I think they would have loved to grab themselves a Dragon. YSKM, he does snip one, but man, not a trade you want to take, and the Poppycopter finds absolutely no target.
An absolutely huge play here coming in from Hanabi. He gets targeted by the scoop in, but is able to keep alive just for the ultimate. And on the flip side, I just feel like Frank Esports, they had a very good sort of engage coming in with YSKN, but weren't able to lock anyone actually in the target, in the river.
Yeah, man, it was so close, and I think unfortunately you get too close for comfort. All of a sudden, Kaiwing sends a big old hostile takeover your way, and let's take a look at that replay again. It was a little bit hectic as PSG starting off on this one. Holo goes in, but yeah, the hostile takeover immediately turns things, and Frank don't find the edge. YSKM was hoping to get Burry out of there, but the fight turns on two fronts, and Burry ends up sacrificing, but hey, got the smite.
It was incredibly worthwhile sacrifice from him. I just want to say, this is the second time that Kaiwing has got Holo's number. You really can't spin your helicopter right in front of Kaiwing. He's going to stop you every single time. That's 2 times in the team fights where we just haven't been seeing the keeper's verdict come to any effect.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the reasons, this Renata is such a great pick into it. But obviously, Poppy has a very telegraphed ultimate. You have a windup, literally, that you need to be able to come around the side. I feel like Holo's going to have to find some creative flanks. We've seen it happen in the skirmishes, but clearly in the 5v5s, PSG Talon have the edge, and they have the Dragon stack. Clement, you talked about a late game comp. You talked about how this was all late all the time. Well, we're ticking on the clock.
Yeah, and the late game comp also can force a Drake fight here as well. The Mountain Soul is definitely not something Frank Esports can give over, given the composition here. And I just feel like Frank Esports, they need to find that decisive win. If they don't get it on the next Drake, it's going to be very dicey here. And PSG, honestly, they could play for Baron too, because they're Baron take is really fast.
That is true. And again, like, you can't discount the Divine Judgment from Hanabi. You can always keep somebody alive if they need to and just completely immune to damage, right? It's not like they can even dish anything to him. Now we're starting to see the Callista's, accelerating. Already had those 2 kills early on in the game, Immortal Shield Bow, and the Ginsu's Rage Blade on. Gory himself, he's stacking it up, has that Mermana as well. Game plan's come together for PSG. Frank, they had opportunities, they had chances. It seems like that's fading.
I feel like they need to switch up their engage method. For me, I think Holo actually needs to use his Keeper's Verdict first, get someone away from the team fight, and then charge in with the stuns. Another time, caught out again.
Long range hostile takeover though. They can't close it, but they do get the tower. They do find a face call, throwing Kaiwing in handshake, not going to connect. Nobody wants to shake his hand. But Frank Esports can't defend their towers. They were too busy fighting themselves.
Holo just doesn't have an ultimate. He just never gets to cast his ult. That's the 3rd time in a row.
This is how you counter Poppy. You don't let her play Poppy.
Great stuff coming in from Bury this time. Actually using the pillar to stop the wind up. And again, you have the hostile take over the wall. This is going to set up into a beautiful situation where PSG are going to have mid lane control. They can walk top towards Baron, walk bottom towards the Mountain Soul. The world is their oyster, and Frank have to follow. He cannot give over either of these objectives.
Yeah, I think it was so critical that, thinking back earlier this game, that Hanabi did not get zoned out of lane, stayed on par, because now with the Wit's End, he just shreds through these waves. He's able to just keep pinging them over and over again. So YSKM's 4-1 strategy is just getting stymied.
Yeah, and you go to level 16, nobody beats a Kayle, so that's
exactly.
That's really hard to deal with. I think PSG are doing the smart thing. They're inching towards the Dragon Soul, but they're also controlling vision on the side of the Baron. So this could be a very fast turnaround. Remember, PSG don't mind if Frank get their first raid. If they trade for Baron, that is completely okay.
Yeah, Corey's got a package as well. Looking for a same-day delivery. If they try to contest on, PSG giving themselves so many options.
Holo has to be the key here. Holo, please, you got to keep yourself outside of vision. Keep your Keeper Verdict. Get someone, just bop someone away, and then go in for the engage. That has to be the sequence for Frank.
Unified's isolated. I feel like you could do that. And yeah, he's a priority target, but you can win the 5v4. The problem is they don't get the inside track. PSG do as they set up. This is Mountain Soul. It has to be contested. Holo gets the wind up in the brush. That's what he needed, but PSG, they immediately see that and back away. So the cooldown's going to reset here. So is the Dragon, though. This is good hope for Frank Esports. They actually find Sand Soldiers. Looking for Tender. We're going to be looking for that big Emperor's Divide. Devour's down. Oh boy, this is so tense, Clement. This could turn the game. That's going to be the wind-up. He does manage to find nobody. They do steal the Dragon. Holo gets the clutch play. Pretender is going to fall in the fight, but they turn on to Hanami. It's zone open for YSKM. Is going to get shut down by Gory. They may have gotten the Dragon, but they are losing everyone. Hanabi stays alive, and it's the wipe butt for Eminem. PSG turned for Baron.
So many low HP targets right there. They do find the Keeper's Verdict, but it wasn't far enough. I actually feel like Gory was prevented from going too far. We're gonna have to watch the replay again. It did look like the ultimate did land, but for some reason Gory actually was still in the fight there. So they don't manage to get a clean 5v4 going through. Gory just walks back into the team fight. You have the bailout just wasting so much time, and also Hanabi's ultimate coming down. So PSG managed to walk away with, I think, 3 very low HP bars.
Yeah, against all odds, too. Let's see that one again, because I think you're right. It looked at first like they didn't actually get anybody out of the fight. Here's the wind-up. Originally, he used it. Yeah, Gory just kind of goes, no, yeah, he just got out of danger and valked to safety. They get the Dragon. That's a heroic effort, but you can't touch Unified, and look what happens. Your health bar's absolutely melting. They don't have the Gwen anymore. They focus. Hanabi does even stay alive through both Holo and carries, chasing him down. And it's just like playing whack-a-mole. A different PSG target is coming up every time, and Frank getting nothing.
Oh, PSG with such a beautiful aggro adjustment right there. They have the two-man the trundle onto YSKM, taking away the main carry, the person with honestly the most damage threat on the side of Frank Esports, and then they just juggle Unified and Hanabi back and forth. Both of them were down to less than a quarter HP. They both survived, and they're able to just finish off Frank.
My goodness. Frank Esports. You know, we gave them a pretty good outside chance to try and take a game here. We were looking at ways that PSG have looked a little bit shaky at times, but you know what? They're proving the naysayers wrong, absolutely. It looks like the win streak surely is going to continue as the trend goes. PSG with a hefty lead, about 6,500. Still have the Dragon Stack to play with. Sure, they gave one away to Frank, but with the Baron buff on, they keep the siege going. They can go right back anytime they want when this Dragon respawns to take Soul.
Yeah, look at the map right now. They're just being cooked so far backwards.
Oh, no! Oh, man.
This is quirky damage for you. Luden's Echo nearly taking Eminem down.
Corki is a balanced champion in League of Legends.
Yeah, I've always felt Corky's
gotta dodge the rockets.
Overtuned.
He always finds a way into the meta, too. Like, you know the old meme is like even if Corky's out of the meta all year long, he finds his way back to Worlds. Like, you just can't keep a good Yordle down.
It's absolutely insane that they just gave him an equalizer on a, on a W ability. Looks like PSG
that's just not fair. Cries and rumble.
Might be just pushing down this tower here. We're gonna have to see if Holo can finally get a good ultimate.
They shred it so fast. Look at that. Hostile takeover. Holo even deals damage to YSKM as they just can't defend. And wash, rinse, repeat back into mid lane. Gory's here, and the rest of the team's sure to follow. PSG just not presenting a target. Here comes the Poppycopter, but also doesn't find any damage and completely denied. He has to just swing it down on the ground. Minute and a half. PSG gonna reset for the Dragon anyways.
Yeah, what a masterful game plan here from PSG. I just feel like the execution is totally on point. They understand that Frank Esports only have 1 point of engage, and that's from the Poppy. So all eyes on Holo. Make sure he never gets to use his ultimate to any effect, and just dance around him. Once that ultimate goes down, you go melee range, and you can just juggle aggro with two abilities that keep your champions alive. It's almost like PSG have resummoned the Chemtech Drake.
Absolutely, which very unfair. We don't normally talk about those dark days, Clement.
People don't miss it.
On the other side of this, but yeah, people do not miss it, and I'm sure Frank Esports maybe getting flashbacks at this point. Teleport expended by Karis to get back in to contest. Again, you can't give away this Dragon, otherwise PSG just pretty much can end your day. So desperation here for Frank Esports. They have held on to all of their inhibitors, so at least there aren't super minions to contend with. But the pillar comes down, going to block them out, and you don't want to bunch up there. Hanabi could start to deal damage. You talked about a level 16 KO. Well, it's here. That's 3 items.
Well, let's see if YSKM can find a good flank right here. Ooh, handshake nearly lands.
Dodges it out. Yeah, that was dangerous. Frank Esports had to be so careful. They need the perfect engage. They need Pretender to shuffle, separate. You need to take Unified out of this one. He's been way too well protected. They get the... No wallbang. Bury's actually just shoved to the side, and he immediately turns after that cooldown, and they're going to send him off. Separated away. Sand Soldiers dodging his Pretender. PSG just moving as a 4-man. Holo forced to flash away.
Holo has to stay around here.
They can't contest. This is Soul. That hurts to see.
Holo not even able to use his ultimate. That was a really clean play from PSG. You know, Bury just keeps his distance, sticks onto Holo there, and tries to cut off the retreat path with the pillar. So it breaks apart Frank Esports, no chance for a flank, and now it's do or die.
That's going to be the one inhibitor falling. Look, Pretender trying to isolate him as he's able to flash away straight into the hostile takeover, and Hanabi just snipes him down. The rest of Frank getting cut down to size. YSKM is joined. They do get one ejection. Maybe they can turn a fight here. Hanabi gets himself ulted, and he just doesn't go down. The second inhib will fall, and Frank, it looks like they've run out of steam. As the Corki bounding forward, Gory really feeling himself, and there is no steadfast presence that can hold against the might of PSG Talon. 29.5 minutes, not even 30 on the clock, and PSG will be able to take the victory here. Frank, they had chances, but they just could not take it. Clean game from PSG Talon.
Really smart idea from the start of draft. I felt like they needed to double down